Hey everyone, how are you? Hope things are well. It is time for Weather University, and of course, we're talking all things storm related and flooding related. But before we get going, I must bring in my partner in crime, Jacqueline Waters. Good morning, Jacqueline.
Good morning to you, Matt.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Let's talk a little bit before we get going here. You got the chance to do some skiing out at
I
Snowshoe.
did.
And nicely, thank you. You did not come back with any broken limbs. Did you have a fun time, seriously?
I did, and I did take it easy because I didn't want to come on crutches. I live on the top floor, no elevator, so there's literally, I don't know what I would have done. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take it easy. I didn't even tell you this. I met some of the workers that work at Snowshoe.
Yeah.
They got me half off lift tickets. I boarded with them.
Yeah.
Great people out there. I enjoyed it.
And how were the conditions overall?
Good. Yeah. I mean, I was a little bit nervous because I thought it would be icy, and some of the rain, the first day I was there, it rained a bit. I thought it would wash away, but it was nice.
Good.
All trails but one were open.
That's
and I think I went on probably 98% of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was
good,
awesome.
So good time out there. Excellent.
Yes.
All right, so we had the snow last week. You left, went to Snowshoe. Then we had rain, and we have some problems out there. Let's talk about the first set of graphics, which is this one here. And I'm bringing this up full, Jack. This is river levels and recent rainfall. Tell me what you put together here.
Yeah, so the recent rain, that contour you see underneath it, is the rainfall we've seen over the last 7 days, so since last Monday. And we've seen quite a bit. And this is only accounting for the rain, not the actual snow that's melted, which obviously is even more with the rain and the warmer temperatures. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of rain, and it is causing issues on the rivers. And we've been seeing that.
And you hit the key there, snow melt, because the northwestern part of the state last Wednesday picked up anywhere from 10 inches to 14 inches. And that is right at the headwaters of the James. So that flowing in, plus that rainfall, and it looks like the contours there in the yellow, 2 to maybe 4 inches. Yeah, that's a lot. So that's the reason why you see these rivers here, whether it's the Appomattox or the James or even the Nottoway running super heavy. Now we're going to go a little more localized with this. So the James River right now running at just under 16 feet. Big time problem.
Yeah, I mean, and just since we've started showing this morning, we've seen the water getting higher and higher and the docks getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
And I set up a time lapse, so I'm excited to see the time lapse that will be done in about an hour. But
All right, we had to duck away there for just a second because we were hearing that we had some problems with Jacqueline's microphone. So, Jacqueline, go ahead and continue about this James River and time lapse.
Yeah, so that should be done in about an hour. I'll have it for the noon show, which will be exciting. But definitely, I mean, we could see people out there. Hopefully, there's a lot of people actually watching.
Right.
I would stay away from the James River right now. Not only is there debris floating down the river, it's muddy, chocolatey, and it's running very, very high in that moderate flood stage.
You know, you look underneath 7 a.m. Wednesday, those are a bunch of people there, and that's usually a biking path, a running path. People always do that, but you get to where the graph begins, there's that guy kind of walking up along the side there. That's all water now, which is incredible, and that's where Alexis Bellamy was live all morning, and it was much better to be seen at 9 o'clock. You could really see the flooding. This area is called Shiplock Park, so yeah.
And it's almost at, 0.1 foot away, 0.1 foot. What does that equal in inches? I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like an inch away.
It's very close to 16 feet right now, and it's going to crest at 17.1 feet by tomorrow afternoon.
Just incredible. And then still staying above flood stage all the way probably into Thursday, because flood stage, remember, is 12 feet.
Yes.
And then it will stay high and be discolored for a while. And we have more precipitation to come. But before we get to that next storm, I want to go through some of the other rivers here that we follow for you. And these are important because, you know, we're talking about rivers that impact people around the region. So the first one here is the Nottoway River near Stony Creek. That's going to be running close to 16 feet. I think the moderate flood stage there is 17 feet. So staying under that, but still a big time problem, again, running rather heavy. We have another river coming up here, Jack.
I don't know what it is. So
Yeah, no,
here
there
we
you
go. The Meteorologists River at Emporia, running right now at 18.38 feet. And it looks like that stays below the minor flood stage. The minor flood stage is 23 feet, but it will crest at 19.8. So definitely running above normal.
Yeah.
And then it will slowly start to fall as we head into Wednesday.
And then they will go out to Farmville. The Appomattox River is actually on the way down. It had crested at over 18 feet. And over the next 24 hours, it will drop by Wednesday morning, 48 hours, to below action stage. So that's great news. But the Appomattox flows closer to Metro Richmond. Meteorologists is in Amelia. And this is going to be a pretty hefty flood for sure.
And it's interesting to note there at 7 a.m. Wednesday, it actually goes up a bit more also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's something we're watching. And then finally, the Appomattox River flows into Matoaca in Chesterfield County. And this is where it gets wider. So the impact isn't as great because you have more surface area for the water to channel into.
Yeah.
So, all right. The big story, of course, is the next storm coming our way, which will be a genuine nor'easter. Jack, let's talk about what a nor'easter is.
I'm sure we're both very familiar. Well, not only are we meteorologists, but
Right.
also growing up in New York, we had
Yes.
a lot of nor'easters. But basically, it's just categorized by which way the strongest winds are blowing, which is why it gets its name nor'easter.
Yes, people think that's because it's moving to the northeast.
Yeah.
It's not the case. You know, it's about the winds for us. It's also known as winter's hurricane because sometimes if they get strong enough, they could develop winds that could turn into blizzard conditions.
Yes.
This is not going to be a blizzard for us. We're just giving you where these things can go to. They run right along the coast of the United States, kind of get fed by that Gulf Stream.
Yes, and I mean, not only do all nor'easters bring snow, they could bring rain, they could bring high surf, I know. And usually they happen between September and April, but not always.
And I think that you really hit the key there. We can have a nor'easter that just brings rain. It doesn't have to bring snow. Now, this one is going to bring snow. We're going to get to that in just a second. But this is the overall setup. Sometimes that jet stream dips south all the way down to the Gulf, and this thing just rapidly intensifies, moves up along the coast, and you get these pretty hefty systems. Yeah.
Science is cool.
Science is awesome. So that brings us to where is the system now? It's nowhere near us. It is exactly where that jet stream is starting, up into the Pacific Northwest. And you're going to see this area of low pressure dropping into the Rockies and all that snow. That's what we call the upper level low. We think of a weather disturbance high up in the sky, and that's going to be dropping down toward the Gulf.
Yes, and it's going to bring in colder air, and winter's not over yet.
Winter is not, as much as I said that winter was canceled until January 2030, something worked against me. I had a great run for 2 years. All right, so here is the main player. So this is now Tuesday night, 11 p.m. with Futurecast. As that system is developing down in the Gulf, clouds starting to spread into here, into Metro Richmond, and we're sitting at 30 degrees. And you mentioned about getting colder. And this is going to be the story here, Jack. We go slowly in time. Notice those overnight lows to Wednesday morning dropping back into the mid-20s as those clouds come in.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much all of the state of Virginia right now, it looks like a mainly snow event.
Correct.
Because temperatures on Wednesday will stay below freezing.
Yeah, and
why.
we're going for a high of 31. I think you'll notice here, Futurecast actually keeps in the 20s. That system comes out of the Gulf, moves across South Carolina. But look at the snow developing. I think the snow develops, we've been talking about this, between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. And ignore that sunshine there. I hate when that happens. But that's deep blue over a lion portion of the state.
I know. And I mean, I noticed this weekend when I was looking over the models, I was really focusing on yesterday's event.
Yeah, of course.
But I kept noticing the system get trending more to the south. So bringing in the colder air, less of a mix, but also bringing in that moisture to more of the southern area south of our area.
Right. Yeah. So initially it was like, over an inch and a half for us, and now it is trended its way back as the system pulls southward. But you're right, still snow. And then we had this thing that we talk about, when we look at models and we're trying to figure out, how much snow it's going to be. We don't really look at these computerized forecast models for the amount of snow. At least I don't. I'm old school.
I don't really either, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to look at, okay, so how much moisture is there? And then what are the temperatures like from the ground all the way up? And what is my ratio of liquid to snow going to be, or snow to liquid going to be? And so people often hear, about this thing called 10 to 1. And that's kind of a nice little starting point where 1 inch of rain equals 10 inches of snow. That doesn't always work because if you have a heavier, wetter snow, which we're very accustomed to here, it might be more of a 6 to 1 or maybe an 8 to 1. Where I spent 11 years off of Lake Ontario, it wasn't uncommon to have snowfall amounts of 40 to 50 to 1 because its lake effect snow is super powdery. Now, this is not going to be that powdery, but this will be more powdery than we're used to.
Yes.
And we're looking at something like 15 to 1 here. Yeah.
I know I did an episode, I don't think you were here that week, a Weather University episode all on snow total.
Oh, you did?
Snow ratio. So
Okay.
what factors contribute to the changes, whether it's windy, colder, drier, and that sort of thing. But yeah, all snow to liquid ratio.
And it's really important, especially when we're sitting here in wintertime. All right, so we continue on with this storm, crossing through and heading on out. And again, you look at most of any sleet would be in North Carolina. As Jacqueline said, everything would be in snow variety for us, and that brings us to the map. And we have, with the new 12Z data coming in, so we guess we should tell people, right? So if you don't know, we work on a 24-hour clock.
Yes.
Based in Greenwich Mean Time, or Z or UTC, right? And the new stuff coming in, so since last evening, there has been the continual trend southward and the lessening of the moisture. The 12Z kind of stabilized. It was down a tick or two, but kind of held position. So maybe we've seen the far shift southward that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Maybe not. This still could change, right? We're still developing this system. We did make some small changes to the snowfall amounts here, Jacqueline, and I think the biggest takeaway is this is still a significant storm. Yeah.
I mean, regardless, especially Virginia, I feel like, we should have put in how much snow we've gotten this season so far.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of snow, but I mean, this is going to probably shut down, again, we're not super attendance.
Right.
But probably going to shut down school for a few days.
Right.
Probably,
Yeah.
I mean, Wednesday through Friday, my guess would be.
100% so, right. Yeah, exactly. Because once we get it, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and the temperatures are going to stay cold. But, I mean, no matter what, the good news is, I guess, with this storm, as of right now, it looks like we won't be dealing with the freezing rain, the icy, slick conditions. And hopefully power outages will stay limited because you don't have that heavy ice weighing down power lines and trees. But, I mean, we're going to get accumulations across the whole state.
All right,
really.
so when we look at this map here, Chesterfield County's in the white, and we're going to go through this for everybody. And good morning, Janet Pooling, wishing us a great time and happy to see Jacqueline back on the newscast. And, that's why she wasn't here. She was skiing last week. But Chesterfield County, Henrico, City of Richmond, most of Hanover County, most of King William, King and Queen, Northern Neck, along and west of Tappahannock, and then down through Powhatan, Amelia, Western Dinwiddie, Nottoway, Prince Edward, Lunenburg. You're in that white, and that's 3 to 6 inches of snow. And so if you think about this, if you're on the western side of that line, you're closer to 3 or 4. If you're down closer to the pink side, or purple side, you're closer to 6 inches. And then that 6-inch line, for one time, really cutting through Petersburg, Hopewell, Prince George, Charles City, New Kent, Middle Peninsula. That's the area that's 6 to 9, including Dinwiddie back over toward Mecklenburg County, Brunswick County, and a good portion of northern Greensville County. Everything south and east of that, which is Emporia along US 58 over to the Tidewater, 9 to 12. So, Nakia Lewis, we just answered your question. Prince George, 6 to 9 inches. I'm looking here on both YouTube and Facebook where people are asking questions. What are we thinking for Colonial Heights? Again, we're looking at the map here. You're looking at 6 to 9 inches. Oh, good. Laura Cortazzo said, what's the timing for this? 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Wednesday, ending 6 to 10 a.m. Thursday.
I will say it looks like, I mean, that's also something I noticed this weekend. It looks like it will move out quicker on Thursday.
Yeah, which is good. That gets us a day to kind of start cleaning up there. That gray area, Jacqueline, is the lower ends, a little bit farther away from the storm. We're talking about a good portion of Caroline County, most of Goochland, let's say Cumberland, Buckingham, Fluvanna, Louisa, those areas 1 to 3. Got another couple of people here watching from South Hill, and Tony, South Hill is going to be in that purple 6 to 9. So Northumberland is in the 6 to 9 inch range. Asks Waverly Lever, Waverly, you're right on that line there of 3 to 6 and 6 to 9. So you're probably good in that 6 to 7 range for you. Missy Rice, downtown Richmond, right in the center of the white. You're 3 to 6 inches. So Matoaka is on the line of 3. You know what? Yeah, you're right about that, Kelly. Matoaka is kind of 3 to 6, 6 to 9. So either way, you're looking at 6 inches, a good day to stay off the roads. Hanover County, Missy Rice, again, that's 3 to 6 in the white. Blackstone, Nottoway County, 3 to 6 in the white. Jacqueline, we just answered that. Again, begins between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Jacqueline, you seen some of the questions there, too?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about me, Jacqueline.
Yeah, no, that was Jacqueline Venci.
Oh, yeah, it spells the same name, same way as me.
Well, how else would you spell Jacqueline?
Oh, Jaclyn.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, because my sister-in-law is the same way as well as you.
Oh.
Yeah, so, all right. Highland Springs, Lakeisha, you're in the white, 3 to 6 inches. All snow Midlothian, great news. Looks like Carson, farther southern Diddy County, you're looking at 6 to 9. New Kent, mostly in the purple, 6 to 9. You guys got to learn how to read a map. Come on, help us out here. I mean, that's the important thing. Maps are, I don't know, I'm just like a map guy.
Yeah.
You know?
It is important to know what your county shape is and where you're located.
Yeah. Exactly. You got county, your town, you got to know what's going on there. Middlesex County in the purple, 6 to 9. Those are the answers. Watching from Gloucester County, this is Greg Joyner. Is there a chance the storm could move further offshore and snow amounts go down? There is that chance, Greg, for sure. And we've been seeing that subtle shift over the past 24 hours south, but that seems to have kind of leveled out maybe with this new run, still models coming in. So we'll wait and see. But right now, based on all the stuff we've been looking at, which is a lot, Jacqueline, that's what we're going with.
It is a lot. I mean, I feel like it's been a lot since January, February. We've been very busy with the weather. And, yeah, exciting stuff here.
Yeah, no, it is kind of fun here for sure, right? So that's kind of important there. Shelly, that's funny. We just like hearing you say it. If we all take a real deep breath and blow all at once, can we just blow it away? I wish, Kara. We need to have hundreds in here, Kara. You know
No.
me. Yes.
I want another good snowboarding trip.
No, you can't. Yeah. No, absolutely. But where are you going to go? You going to go to like Massanutten or Wintergreen or someplace local?
I love snowshoe.
Oh, so you can drive back out there again. Sounds
Maybe,
good. Yep. Brandermill's in Chesterfield County, Jesnique. So that's in the white. Sharon, you're also in the white in Amelia County. So Hannah Gilbert just joined. This is supposed to start Wednesday morning between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Wednesday. So is there a potential that the white amounts go back higher? We are still days out. So remember, this is a forecast that is based on the latest information. But weather models are continuously being made 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we're constantly looking at them. And as the storm is now just coming into the Pacific Northwest, we're able to get more information about how it's going to develop. So yes, things can change, and we expect them to. This is also why over the weekend, and even to this morning, you didn't hear us screaming, "This is the most historic snowstorm to ever hit Richmond." There were people posting models, the European, of 20 plus inches of snow. That stuff doesn't happen, folks. All that is clickbait.
And it scares people.
Right. It scares people. It's clickbait. It's garbage data. You can't just cherry pick one model that has snow.
Yeah.
Because you've got to really look at the whole big picture here. You've got to look at everything. And there are some models that are good. There are some models that are bad. And some models have bad data in them, and you've got to be able to say, that just doesn't look right compared to other things or what I know happens. So,
actually, something interesting, you probably know this. So my old job, doing the weather balloon research and stuff, a lot of that data gets ingested into the models, but one of my jobs there was to look for like erroneous data, because then it messes up model runs.
Yes. So talk a little bit about that, because this is really important. So how many times a day were you launching balloons?
Well, at my site, I technically wasn't, because I was just doing like research and data study. But there's, I think, 92 upper air National Weather Service sites, or 96 across the country that launch twice a day, 0Z and 12Z. And depending on if they have like severe weather coming through or a winter storm, they'll launch more frequently to help out the weather models, and also just to help people looking at the sounding data. But also you can't launch in like a snowstorm. Well, you can, I guess, in a snowstorm.
Right.
But in thunderstorms you can't because of safety reasons. But we should do an episode on
Launching
QTs
balloons.
and like soundings.
We should. And so there's a lot that goes into it. So for those that don't know, the balloon goes up and it has a little box on it. And the box is like, I don't know, twice the size of like my clicker here, a little bit bigger. And inside there is some pretty standard weather equipment, a thermometer, which measures temperature, a hygrometer, which measures humidity. There's a barometer for pressure. And then there's actually a radio card inside there and a transmitter. And as
I have one I could bring in.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be actually cool. So we should do that.
Yeah, we should.
So, all right. So, Jack, so as this balloon is going up and it's taking this up with it, it's sending the signal back down to a computer at the ground, right? And based on how it's tracking, we could then do some really cool math and get wind speeds and wind direction.
Yeah. And actually, there's a public site. Oh, I forget what it is off the top of my head, but you could watch these weather balloons across the country and see exactly where they go. That's how I would also see if sites were getting their balloons up. Sometimes if I didn't see them getting up, I would call them, hey, it's Jacqueline Waters with the National Weather Service Help Desk. Like, why aren't you launching? And sometimes they would get upset, but that was my job.
No, that's good. So as the balloons as the data's coming back down, you're looking at the data in real time to see if there's anything bad.
Yeah. I mean, we can't look at all of them, but the weather services are looking. If they think something's off, then they give us a call, and then we try to see if something is wrong, because it could be a sensor that's broken. It could be if they launched in a thunderstorm where it's just erroneous data is going through a different layer of different weather. But there's a lot of things that could happen. It could hit a bird, and something could break there. So yeah, it's really interesting.
And so all of that data from these 96 balloons plus that go up, right? Then all that data sent to different weather forecast agencies. And obviously the closest one for us is the NCDC up in Bethesda, Maryland. That's where all the models are made.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I thought you meant National Weather Service Office.
Yeah. No. So that's it's not NCDC. It's NCEP. Sorry.
NCEP. Yep.
Yeah. National Center for Environmental Prediction. And so in that building, they ingest this data from all these balloons, and there are different computers that run all of these really crazy formulas that we had to learn, and that's how the models are created. So if a balloon, let's say, has, temperature's supposed to go down as you go up in sky, right? For the most part. But all of a sudden, if there's some crazy spike to, let's say, 75 at 20,000 feet, and that gets in there, it can throw off the entire model because that gets extrapolated down the road.
Yep, exactly. And, I mean, that's why meteorologists are important. I think a lot of people just have weather apps, and sometimes erroneous data could get into your weather app, and we're here because we could basically tell if something's erroneous in a weather model, or like sometimes our sensors are stuck on a temperature 19 degrees where everyone else is 50. Like obviously that's stuck on an old reading. So I think it's important. It
is important, and I think you bring up a good point there about weather apps. Weather apps are built on one particular model.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to caveat that and say not our weather app, the Barron app that we have here, the 8 New Storm Tracker app, because the actual forecast that you see that is on your app, we have actually put in. And that's when you're in Central Virginia. Even though it travels with you elsewhere, once you go up to, let's say, D.C. or New York City or whatever, then it's going to adjust to some of the high-range models that we run here, but they're more based for that area. But in terms of the actual forecast, that's here.
Yes.
Every other app uses whatever that model is. And models, as we know, are highly erroneous.
Yes.
And especially if you're looking at the Apple weather, or
that's like my biggest pet peeve. When
my God.
Like my dad, love you, Dad, but like he texted me, he's like, we're seeing crazy amounts on our apps. I'm like, Dad, you have a daughter that's a meteorologist.
Right. Call me, text me. I'll tell you what's going on. Yeah. So, all right. So that's a little bit about balloons and about models there. So, the Weather Channel, I don't care. So I will tell you this straight out. I post this all the time. We will not comment on what Channel 6 does, what Channel 12 does, what any Facebook person does, what the Weather Channel does. It is unprofessional. It is highly unprofessional for us to comment on anybody else's work because everybody works hard. And you could put 100 meteorologists in a room and give them the same maps and the same data, and you will have 100 slightly different forecasts. It's based on your knowledge of meteorology, some of the things that you may draw inferences from in previous weather or similarities to other storms and other weather systems. And there are just some local things, local knowledge you know about an area, about sometimes it gets colder and here's why, or it gets hotter and here's why. So whatever somebody else is saying, excellent, good. We're giving you what we call for.
Yes.
We don't compare with anybody in terms of, you know, we're not going to sit here and bash people. That's just not what we do. If you want bashing, there are other sites you can go look at that and have a good time. I'm just going to say that. So.
Good point.
Yeah. So that's been my rule for 32 years of doing this. It's not going to change today. It's never going to change. So, again, we left it on here. So, Jacqueline, one thing to talk about. We mentioned schools, and we said that schools might be closed for a little while. And
they're closed today. So
it's a President's Day.
Maybe one day. Well, yeah, but maybe one day of school this week.
Right, one day of school, right, because they're going to close on Wednesday, most likely, right? And the reason why they may be closed after that is look at not just the highs, but look at the overnight lows as we head into the weekend.
Yeah.
This snow isn't going to melt.
Yeah. At least on the bright side of things, we have 31 days until spring.
Oh, look.
And then also, at least we won't see really those icy conditions. At least right now, that's not in our forecast.
Correct. Yeah, this is not a sleet system. This is not a freezing rain system for us because we're going to be too cold from the ground all the way up into the sky. So, yeah, so keep that in mind. We do get that sunshine back, which was nice.
That is nice.
Yeah, but, again, I just put the snowfall totals back up there. So, Tamia Wilson says, yes, as we get this snow to slightly melt and the roads start to clear, black ice could be an issue.
That is a good point, yeah.
Good point, Tamia. Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you think, John Rowe asked, what do you think Hampton, Virginia will get? That's in the blue, John. That is 9 to 12. So, so that's what we're looking at there. Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good we could tell people we're going to come on tomorrow and also Wednesday.
We're Special Weather University.
And we love doing this, too. I
do.
hope you guys all love joining. I mean, we could nerd out about meteorology all day. That's what we do, I guess. That's our job.
That's what we do. I mean, look, I love my hundreds. I love my humidity. You love your snow and skiing. But when weather is active, yes, it can be tiring for us, but this is what we were like bred to do, so to speak.
Exactly.
This is what we love.
And if we could just help one person, at least I feel good.
Exactly. For all of you that are asking further questions, please refer to WRIC.com/weather. Our full forecast is up there. We're going to actually update this map, which we've now shown you, to that because there are some slight changes to the map that you're seeing, and we'll make some small tweaks to the actual wording there. But all the questions as to when this will start, how long, and blah, blah, blah are all at WRIC.com/weather. Jacqueline, I'll give you a final word as we begin to wind things down here.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Well, final word of what? Like to you or about the forecast?
To the people.
I'm happy Maddie didn't cancel snow until 2030. That's my final word. And that was the first thing that came to my head.
All right, and with that, we'll let y'all be. Y'all have a great day, and we will talk with you tomorrow morning at 10:30 for Weather University. So long, and enjoy your afternoon.